Shifting higher into...
All right, Matthew, today is the day. Are you ready for this? Today is the day!
Oh man, I got out of bed this morning ready.
That doesn't even... You're supposed to say I was born ready.
What? Dude, that doesn't even make sense.
Okay, I don't need... Where's the holographic projector anyway?
It's in the cloud.
Haha, nice. All right, Adam, go ahead and execute top secret program believed to achieve the class.
Jay, are you sure you want to do this? This GPT holographic projection technology isn't a toy, you know.
Dude, of course we want to do this. How else are we gonna film the best class in Renatus history?
Okay, well don't say I didn't warn you. Pradeep, is everything good to go on your end?
Stand by for a moment. We are go for hollow projection.
You are go for project launch.
All right. What? Can you even see in those things?
No, I can't.
All right, let's kick this pig.
Ever since the beginning of time, there's always been shade trying to steal our shine like Magellan. Believed in his hope.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Wealth Wednesday. Music video hour. Kidding.
But that's my Edison. Took the dark out the night. Maybe the
There's some great content in these.
Because whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. If you're trying to be fly, then you best be right. Because those brothers are accredited with the first flight. Whatever you think, you're right. You right. Whatever you believe, it's true. It's true. We choose who to become by what we think and do.
Even though the path is filled with the voice of self-doubt and tribulation. Push ahead, you'll make it. I'm inclined to say, believe to achieve it. You can have it your way. Liberate and free it. Hold your faith, be the change, call it into existence. Believe to achieve. Believe to achieve.
Okay, perfect. GM, everybody. Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. We got our live education recordings happening tomorrow and Friday. Super excited about that. I just sent Jason a message because I'm like, dude, you're famous. Look at, you're up here, you're over here, you're over here, you're everywhere. Good job, dude. So anyway, one of the benefits of going to the live training is asking the instructors for their phone number. Now, I'm not saying go up there and say, Michael told me you'd give me your number. That's not it. But show up with the right attitude and ask people for their number. Chances are you'll be successful. That was one strategy I've employed over and over every time I went. And now I'm on a friend basis with almost every Renatus instructor. Took time. You had to show up coachable, right? Anyway, I want to give a big shout out to these people. Look at this. So we got the updates for this week. Numero uno, Alfredo. Congratulations to you, buddy. Well done. In the number 2 position, we got Bobby T from the Illinois team, Chicago area. John Chavis is coming in at number 3 out of Maryland. Well done, sir. Mary and Seta from the Draper team. Always top performance in their real estate and their marketing. Good for them. Good job, guys. Mitch Maley coming in at number 5. Michelle Torres in the number 6 position. Always lovely to see. Top 10. Kendall Stock, number 7 out of Rexburg, Idaho. Idaho again. Mr. Coulter Hansen, well done to you, sir. And in the number 9 spot, we got Christine Diamond. Very helpful. Like I was saying earlier, all the behind the scenes people. She's one of those people just always helpful. And in the number 10 spot out of Yukon, Idaho, Mr. Jason Andrus. So we got all over the map today, or this week. I should say. Anyway, congrats. A few more people jumping in here. Congrats. Well done. And GM. Okay. Quote of the day. If you fell down yesterday, stand up today. Yeah, otherwise you're hosed, man. Right? You become food real quick. You better get up. You better get up. We can improve that by saying stand up with a better attitude, stand up smarter, stand up, but nonetheless, stand up. Awesome. And a quick reminder, we're going to be doing Super Saturday this Saturday. So right after the live education experience on Thursday, Friday, Super Saturday. Now I'm going to Florida this weekend for another workshop with Cosimo, and we're going to be introducing people to our program, showing them why they should be real estate investors, how they can chase away whatever kind of scarcity or small-mindedness and be in the world of abundance, financially and otherwise. Of course, finances are the easiest thing to measure. So anyway, Thursday, Friday, it's going to be awesome. And then Super Saturday, 9 to noon Mountain Time, 10 to 1 Central. And then just wanted to remind everyone, we talked about it on Monday, but the 17th is the last day to put orders in and have them count for your, I'm just noticing this, I don't know what this is, for your yearly numbers. So you put an order in on the 17th, then it's 12 days, right? So 18 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the last payday of the year is the 30th, right? We get paid on Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays and Fridays, Tuesdays and Fridays, Tuesdays and Fridays. So last payday is the 30th. So if you want it to count for you for 2025, the cutoff is the 17th. Now, when you're talking to your customers, they don't care about your cutoff for your yearly numbers. Doesn't matter to them. There's no incentive for them to hurry up and do anything from that context. So if you see, let's say the customer's got their order or they got their money, but they're dragging their feet, and you talk to them on the 12th and then the 13th, and they're like, oh, okay, I have a really busy week, so how about we make it on Friday? I'll finalize my order. Now, if you say, well, if you put it in on the 17th, it'll count towards my yearly numbers. They don't care. But what if you said, hey, I would love to do that. Let's schedule a strategy session. Let's get your fast start guide, your game plan ready to go, and dedicate the time to you. I'll get my 5-star or their 5-star on the line. But in order to secure your spot, because the end of the year is super busy, in order to secure your spot, let's at least get the order in. And it'll take 5 or 10 minutes, and then we can have your whole big strategy session over here and create an incentive for you do this, and then I'll do that. The other thing you can do is put in a partial order. I'll quickly demonstrate that. Partial order. So come up here to the add order button. Then you're going to get your customer. Okay. All right. Load them up. Extreme Plus combo. Here we go. 34,991. Then when you hit next and we go to add payment, you could put in a cashier's check right here. Now remember, we got the two toggles right here. We got the pay now, get the $9,000 discount, pay over time, make your monthly payment. You need 46 down and 633 a month. But if you get the discount or the pay over time, doesn't matter. Your education, your experience, your coaching, the software, the perks, you get it all. But let's say you want to get this person's order locked in on the date so that it can pay you out in December. And again, this is a balance between your own self-interest and serving your customer. You should never put your self-interest above theirs. However, if you completely ignore your self-interest, then you'll never succeed. So it's got to be this balance in your mind. Keep it clear. What are you doing? You're here to serve, and you get a boatload of money for being of service inside of Renatus. Not always everywhere else. Anyway, let's say they got one more credit card coming in the mail. They don't have it all. They got 15 grand on one card, 15 grand on another, but they're waiting in the mail. So you could put in the cashier's check. Now, don't do this every time. Only do this as you know we're going to go in. Then you're going to put in the check number 001. There are no checks numbered 001. When you put in 001, that tells corporate and that tells us that you've found a different funding source and you're putting in a placeholder. Okay. Name on bank, self, or incoming credit cards. Okay. Then when you add this payment, it will start the 7-day rescission. Well, actually, no. Once they sign, then it will. But it'll at least get a date stamped onto this order. Now, I don't want to hit add payment. Sure. I'll hit so now we've got the check mark next to here. Okay. Cashier's check payment 001. Now they know, oh, we're actually doing a HELOC, or we'll be doing a maybe a real cashier's check, but we're going to go hand it in. Any questions about this so far? You understand why we would do it? Okay. So then we'll hit next, and then there's two choices. Rebecca is with me and would like to sign now. Rebecca would like to sign the agreements later. Sign it later, sign it now. Doesn't matter. Do whatever is happening for you. If you're on a Zoom, then just put right now and then have them do it. Now you hit send to customer, it'll open up. And what I'd like to point out is that there's 5 steps up here. We got our customer, the service, the payment, signatures, and review or confirm. As the ICM, you're going to put in all the info for these 5 tabs. And then when the customer receives the order and then they click on the link, they're going to see these 5 tabs also. They're just going to confirm all the way down. And then that will finalize the order. They'll put their signature on it. They hit the last confirm button. And then it'll go to corporate. Signatures will be approved. And if the payment is actually in, they can start watching their classes right away. If it's a 001 cashier's check, there will be no access to classes because there's actually no money being transferred. You just wanted to get the timestamp on the order. Okay, perfect. Aubrey's getting it. Everyone else is getting it. Winkler, yes, I did get your message. And Cook, yes, I did. So I just saw your message too. Yep. Okay. Pretty sweet deal, right? Now sometimes, let me cancel this order. Sometimes, pardon me. Sometimes you'll have a customer who their credit cards are on the way, something. Maybe they got exactly 26 grand, but they also need to pay off something else, do something. And so by the time they're actually ready, they're short some money. What do we do then? Well, go back to my thing here. One thing you could do is 2 separate orders. For example, when we go back to the Extreme Plus, and we're in the pay now or pay over time. What I like to point out, if someone's doing the billing, which, 0% interest, it's not financing, it's just billing, the initial payment is $4,600. So if they're like, yeah, I have my 4,600, let's just put it down, and you say, okay, great. What if we put that money towards a cash order? Go back to previous, and let's remove the essentials, or I mean the profits in the extreme. And then we'll say, hey, if you got the 4,600 down, why don't you just pay the 23 full out for your essentials? Then you have another 2,300 to put down on, and we'll do two separate orders. So you would finish your essentials order, get it all the way paid for, and then they can start watching classes within half an hour or less, depending on holidays or whatever. And then go get a new order. So you would finish this order, right? The 5 steps up here. Then a new order, pretend I'm not hitting previous. I'm going to get a new order, and then I'll put in the profits and the advanced. Okay, because remember, they had 4,600 to put down. Then we'll do the pay over time, and to get the profits plus the advanced and the essentials in cash covers the money that they had available. So now you can see, to finish paying out for an essential or an advance in the profits is only 1,800. So the 1,800 here plus the 2,300 for the cash essentials puts us at what is that? 23, 18, 41. So you're still $500 less than the down payment for the Extreme Plus combo. Now you only have the advanced. It's different. I get it. I get the 2 tracks and not all of them, but you have that given them a year to upgrade. And then they would just have to pay the difference. So it saves them some money out of pocket. Their payment's lower. You get a higher commission up front. They can watch the classes right away. There's a lot of benefits to doing it this way as well. Is this making sense? Is this helpful? You like the idea? Does it sound good to you? Sweet. Okay. Perfect timing. And that's how you make $1 million. Yep. Yep, exactly. It's very helpful. It keeps people on track, keeps people accountable. And by understanding that, you can pay more attention to order entry deadlines and get stuff taken care of. Say they got 10 grand on that credit card and they're waiting for another 20 on different funding sources. Say, let's take that 10, let's pay for your cash essentials, let's put the down payment on the 2 other packages, and then when the rest of the money comes in, pay it all off. No big deal. So anyway, 17th is the cutoff for orders counting in 2025. So GM to that. Okay, so welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Here we talk about all things Renatus, personal development, real estate, expansion, becoming your best self, getting good with head math, cowboy math, deal negotiating, and essentially living the American dream, living a life by design, not by default, not by accident, but on purpose. And someone who has done just that and has been a great example to us is our trainer for Wealth Wednesday, Mr. Daine Clark. He is well versed in negotiations with title companies, with lenders, with homeowners, and put together an incredible process that has not only solved the American dream for a lot of people who want to become homeowners and put their money to good use, but he's also made a fantastic example of a business model that many have copied, and not only that, but supports people in that. A great example of staying dedicated, staying focused to the plan, to the process, and understanding that, hey, this isn't a 3 month, 6 month little experiment, but this is a 2 year, 5 year, 10 year career, game plan, a shift in what we're doing, a complete shift. And he's done just that. Last week, he announced that he has put his $100 millionth to work. Incredible. Incredible. First, that he hit that achievement, and two, that he tracks everything. He's an open and honest book. Anything you ask him, he will tell you. You might not like the answer, but he will do his best to find the answer, tell you the truth, how he sees it, and support you while you go out there and build your dream just like he has. We're very grateful for him. Looking forward to a powerful end of the year, some great stories, some great examples. So let's give a big warm welcome to the man of the hour, Mr. Daine Clark.
Heck yeah, dude. I hope everybody had an amazing Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. We did a ham this year.
How did
What's
it
that?
go at the dinner? The story, the toast.
The toast?
Yes.
Oh, it was funny. I kept looking, I kept looking, I kept looking, and like the only thing I was able to say was one of the guys was asking, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I just bought a house." And so it was that one that um that Aubrey, her Aubrey's dad talked to the guy at the car store. So we bought that house on Wednesday, and that house was actually like a hop, skip, and a jump away. And so was able to be like, yeah, yeah, I actually just bought a house like right over there. But still, like I couldn't get anybody to be like puppy dog head tail. You guys know the drill. Like nothing. But you know what?
$100 million.
Yeah, I actually talked to Paige on the drive down. I was like, "Hey, honey, like, should I do it?" And we both agreed, like that audience, they would feel like I was just bragging, and it would turn them off. And so I was like, "Okay, I don't think I'll do that. I'll try and do something sly." I figured, okay, yeah, if I just say, "Oh, I just bought a house," like a hop, skip, and a jump away from right here yesterday, that maybe somebody be like, "Oh, really?" But poker face.
Isn't that something? So that's a good lesson, folks, that if you are going to do a deal so that you can market to your family in hopes that maybe that'll change their mind, maybe not. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't count on it, I guess is what I'm saying, because
Yeah.
you go do one, two, three deals and you think, oh, they'll believe me now. And then they'll say, well, when you get to your 10th deal, when you get to your 50th deal, when you make $1 million, when you make 5 million. And then once you make $5 million, then they're gonna say, you just got lucky. You just got lucky. I could never do it because it's just luck.
Yeah.
You got to live your life and design your business for you. And if people want to come on, great. If not, wish them well.
Yep. Like there are those people that are like, I want to see, but they tend to still join early. Like they see your first shut up check and they're like, done. But like
Right.
Michael said, if you have those ones that are like, oh, I need to see two. Oh, now I need to see three. Like it just never ends.
Yeah, but there are people who join that see that you're even taking classes and then want to do it with you
Mhm.
too. But the
Yeah.
point is that you got to do it for yourself.
Yeah. So my rule of thumb is if they know that you want to do it, and there will be people who join. So for example, in your four boxes, I would tell people even when I was brand new and didn't know what I was doing. I didn't do that. I would if I started again and just say, "Hey, here's what I want to do." And there will be some people like, "Me too." And and they'll join alongside you. And some people will be like, "You're crazy." And And then the people that are, because there's obviously yeses and nos. And so the people that are like, no, that's crazy that you want to do that. Um, some of them will be like, oh, I've always wanted to do that, but that's scary or something like that. But then they see you actually doing something, and then they're like, oh, there is like a whole support system and people and people that talk back like better than the books do and better than the YouTube videos do. Like people that will actually have a conversation with me and connect me to the actual competent professionals that are, oh, I'm in. And so there are people that will still join early even though they said no. Like my dad. Like I remember my own father when I told him, I was like, yeah, I dropped 20 some odd thousand on 0% credit cards. Joined this school and I'm learning real estate. And he's like, good luck with that. So that was my first experience with sharing it with my family. And I knew they would. I absolutely knew that they would feel that way. And that was part of the reason why I didn't tell them for the first several months, because I knew how they would react. And so everyone was like, great. But then, like I said, a year in, 2 years in, I think it was. Let's see. When was the London challenge? Was it like 2018? Yeah, it
was
had to be
2019. April 2019 we got to go. So yeah, I guess the challenge was in 18.
Okay, yeah. So, oh, that's right. So yeah, so it would have been 20, what did you say? 28. So yeah, end of 2018 basically. So I had been in Renatus for 2 years. And that was that Christmas when my dad called me and was like, I'm in. So 2 years later, it took him a minute. Maybe it took me a minute because, like I said, I was shy and I didn't talk to people. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, I got to talk to people. And so then I start talking to people, and then success follows. And so he jumped in. But like I said, nobody else did. No matter how much success, nobody would jump in. In the other family members. But boy, did a lot of other people because like I said, I just started talking to everybody. Everybody knew what my goals were. Everybody knew what I wanted. And when I say goals, I don't just mean like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Like nobody wants to hear that goal. Oh, I want to help 10 people that inherited a house and want to get rid of it because they inherited they inherited a monthly payment and an ugly house. So they inherited a monthly payment on an ugly house and and so I would share goals like that. Like I want to help people do this thing. I just talked, and I would share stories like that. I just talked to somebody in this scenario and I want to help 10 people like that because I know there's got to be more people like that. And so I'd share goals like that. Like, oh, here's goals on helping people that, yes, I'm gonna get a paycheck if I help that kind of a person. And so would share goals like that. And then people out of the woodwork would either bring me deals or be like, I want to do that too. So, and then they were joining the ranks and linking arms and going for it. So anyway, good stuff. But yeah, we closed on that house. It's super awesome. And I've already been telling that story to other people. Because like I said, I tried to start at that conversation at Thanksgiving. It didn't happen. But I've already been able to share that story with a handful of people like, yeah, I just bought this house. And then people are like, wait, what? Like I had a guy, I've been working on this guy. Like he's just so busy with what he's doing. He's got his laser focus on because he's thinking, and I don't want to say this in a negative light. Like he's thinking that he doubles down on his current business and it's gonna make everything better, which he's not wrong. But he says to me, he's like, yeah, I've been thinking about, stuff that you do, real estate. And I had this idea that maybe I buy a lot, I build the house myself, and then I sell it on seller financing like you do because he's like, I know some buddies who just build one house a year and they make, 50, 60, 100 grand, whatever. And then they build one next year and that's just what they do. And he's like, so I'll basically just take their model, add the Daine special to it, and build a house and sell it on seller financing. And then I told him about that other deal. I was like, oh, dude, I just bought one for 590. It appraised for 900 the day I bought it. Sold it for 649 the day I bought it. I've never even seen this house. And he was just like, wait, what? And anyway, so yeah, tell these kind of stories of people that you want to help and make those your goals. Like this is my goal to, and then insert story. Yeah, this is, well, I guess it's not a new deal. We've been working on this one for a minute, but finally we're able to get it closed up. And so officially bought it.
How is that real life? I need to find these deals.
Yeah. So Aubrey, would you, let's see, I'm pretty sure I saw Aubrey on today. Would you, the cat's out of the bag already because I've been kind of dropping hints, I guess, that this story is going along. But Aubrey, would you like to share the story that you told me, or do you want me to tell it? Because obviously my version is the phone call version of what I heard Aubrey tell me.
Yeah, I can do that.
Cool.
So
So
the
share
question
the
is,
chain of conversations that
okay,
that happen. Because like to me, that's the most important thing that leads to deals. All wealth is built through conversation. So share, like, who did you have a conversation with? Because obviously you and I had a conversation, and so you and I knew each other. And then you had a
okay,
conversation with somebody who had a conversation with somebody who, and then all of a sudden it's like boomeranging back to you. And go ahead, go ahead.
yes. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. So my dad collects cars, and so he puts his show cars in car shows, and so he's around a lot of people with a lot of connections and money and entrepreneurs. And so someone was talking to him about his cars, and then just out of the blue said, "Hey, do you know anyone who would be willing to invest in my home by chance?" And I guess even before that, so I had told my family what Nate and I were getting into and what we were doing. And we told him about Dane and how he does cool things like lending and how he was like out to help, what was it, like 100 people last year or something like that. And so we just had those light conversations, just planting seeds because my family just thinks differently. Um, so anyway, when my dad was at this car show and someone asked, "Do you know anyone who would invest in a property?" My dad was like, "Oh, my daughter." And he knows that Nate and I ourselves aren't in a position to be lenders, but that we know people. And so then I went to Dane and I told him what was up, and we had looked at the numbers and had a conversation with the homeowners. And they'd actually talked with quite a few different investors who gave them offers, but they said that there was something different about the way that I was talking to them. And so I passed the vibe check, and then they met Dane, and he passed the vibe check, and they were just super, super excited. And so yeah, Dane went ahead and did that, and then they were so impressed with everything that they bought the essentials, and then 6 days after, they had their friend buy the essentials.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, they didn't even leave the
Nice.
rescission period yet.
Holy cow. Okay, so Aubrey, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Have you done like real estate deals on real estate deals on real estate deals on real estate? Like you've done a handful, if I remember right?
No, Nate and I, we did one fix and flip before we found Renatus, and then we did one wholesale deal, and that was it.
Okay. So coming from, still the newbie, if you're still getting your feet wet.
Oh yeah.
And this is like this is so perfect because this is how it works. When people hear that you are genuine, they almost don't care how much you know. And it sound like, and Aubrey couldn't have said this any better, because these guys did. They were telling us about all these different offers that people were giving them. And I remember thinking like, "Oh, I'm so glad you didn't do that." Like, oh my gosh. And so they were like, "Yeah, we tried this, we tried this, we tried this." And here's Aubrey that, like she said, done a couple of deals, still feels new, if correct me if I'm wrong, still feels a bit new,
No, that's right.
and they don't care that she probably came off new as well. They did not
Mhm.
care. They felt that she was genuine and that she wanted to help. And they didn't think that she was lying, that she either could help or had people who could help. Either one. They didn't think she was lying. Even though I can almost guarantee, in fact, maybe I'll ask this couple, because now they're students, and so they get to see the behind the scenes and the forefront too. Um, like next time I talk to them, I think I'm going to ask them for this side of their story on their end, was like, what made you want to have a further conversation? And did they notice Aubrey's, let's call it newness? I'm going to guarantee that they said that they will. That they'll be like, yeah, yeah, we could tell that she was newer. But they could, my stories are the same way. Especially all my beginning ones. They could tell that they could tell where her heart was. They could tell that she just wanted to help. She wanted a story of success where every single person in the deal was like, thank you. Right? That's what she wanted. That's what her goals were. Her goals weren't just to make thousands of dollars herself and oh, I'm only doing this because I want to make thousands of dollars. No, like never even came up in her heart, never even came up in conversation. And so this is so perfect because my stories are the same. Like if anybody has heard my stories of doing my first deals, doing my first money raising, I guarantee the person thought I was I could tell the Danes knew. But they could read my heart. Like you ever notice that you can just kind of tell. You can just kind of tell where somebody's heart is when you're having a conversation with them. It's not rocket science to catch on to those kind of things. Anyway, you just know. And and so they wanted to talk to Aubrey. And here we are, just bought a house, and Aubrey made money. And so awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aubrey. Um, but yeah, my stories are the same. I guarantee anybody else on here that has these early stories would concur that theirs were the same. I bet you Michael's are the same. Anybody on here, those first deals, the person basically was like, okay, yeah, because they could read the heart. And what they really wanted to do was help them. And the paycheck was just a byproduct of helping them, of actually providing the solution. And when I finally understood that, it took me a while, but when I finally understood the science behind that, that's where a lot of these things come from, where I say like, oh yeah, forget the 90 and 9. Focus on the one. Because when you have a lot of experience under your belt, it actually becomes more of a hindrance, because our natural tendencies are that we want to bang our chest and be like, so like flaunting that I've put $100 million to work. Like people don't want to hear that. And the only time I will flaunt that is when it really matters. Um, which is not very often. Most of the time, I try to mimic what Aubrey's story is exactly. I try to mimic that I just tell one story and that I want to help more people like that. And I hone in on the one. because that's basically what mimics the very reason that that couple listened to Aubrey and were like, yes, we want to talk more. And because, like I say, if I just sit there and beat my chest and, oh, you've done hundreds of deals and $100 million, nobody cares. And I would guess that some of these other investors that were pitching this couple on offers of what they were going to do for them probably came across that way. And we're just like, yeah, I can help you. I helped 1,000 of you, whatever. But it just rubbed them wrong for whatever reason. They could just tell that it was more paycheck driven than it was help driven. And they just didn't feel right about it because they had time. I mean, this is like any investor that saw this would be salivating because this is an awesome deal for an investor too. But they chose Aubrey because she wasn't afraid to open her mouth and talk to family members in a way that those family members go and have their conversations and then are like, yeah, you need to talk to my daughter. Awesome. Whew. And is literally the exact recipe of every deal that almost every deal I've ever heard of. Love it. Coolio. All right. Let's see. Looking at comments. Amy Earl, I have a property if you want to look at to take a look. Sure. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, let's bust out the calculators and run some numbers. I'm reading a few more of these comments. Coolio. Amy, if you want to come off of mute, tell us what you got. Let's see what we can do.
There's this lady in my neighborhood. Now, I built my house with neighbor nonprofit. She did too. She is divorced. Um, and now she needs to unload her 5-bedroom, uh, 3-bathroom house. And she's had it listed for 460, and so far nobody has taken up. I ran into her at Walmart the other day. I'm like, state investor trying on the name. She's like, well, do you want to buy it? And so I am so new. So anyway, if we could just look at it and just
Sure.
see if it makes sense, you know?
You bet.
So
Let's see. You've
yeah,
got
we were
what? Safari.
the address is I looked it up.
All right. First question. What
Mhm.
do you think you would do with the house? And here, I'm going to move this over here so it doesn't look like I'm looking at the corner.
I don't know. I'm like,
Like,
if I didn't love my neighbors so much, I probably would just move into this house because we have outgrown, like, we're just like a plant when it just gets too big for the pot, it just
yeah.
becomes painful. If I didn't love, I mean, it's a quarter mile away, but it's back in it's in my old ward, so I could get rid of this. Anyway, I might be interested in maybe moving into it, or I might flip it. It's a really big house to flip, though.
Okay.
But
So I just always like to have a plan A. And
yeah,
it's
good
awesome
idea.
if we have plan B, plan C, whatever. But always go into it with a very solid plan A. And so am I hearing that maybe just turn around and sell it?
I would like to hold it for 6 months for May of 2026 when the interest rates are technically kind of supposedly maybe technically going down. And so I would love to have that maybe just buy and hold it for 6 months if we could swing it. If not, then that's not a good idea.
Yeah. And that's
But
fine. And so buy it, rent it, and then sell it if I'm understanding.
maybe we could do that. Something. We need to get the cash flow flowing. That's What that's the ultimate goal with
Okay. So
Renatus is
plan
to get the
A,
cash flowing.
whatever plan A is, it must include cash flow. Okay. So how long ago did you buy your house?
We actually built in 2006
Okay, so it's been a
when
minute.
our twins were 2 years.
Okay.
Now they're 21.
So that house is worth wildly more than you paid for it. Like,
Yeah, except we've had a few financial hiccups, and so but we probably still have 200,000
yeah,
in equity, even with our
perfect.
financial hiccups.
So
Maybe
so a couple
150.
things. A couple things hit my mind, and obviously I'm biased because I do what I do in real estate within the Renatus education. It is vast and wide, and the net is huge. Like it is ocean big. There's so many ways to make money in real estate that are included in the Renatus education. So my opinion, I just have to, my disclosure, I guess, is I'm biased with how I look at things. And so it's not the only option. But a couple things that hit my mind is, hey, what if you do kind of a twofer and sell your house that you're living in because it's, like you said, you're busting at the seams. I'm guessing you don't really want to add on. And so why not sell your house on seller financing and then buy her house with the down payment that you receive from your house and go ahead and finance the new house too. And if you structure it basically the same way I do, you do a lease option conversion to seller financing on the old house. And so you can take whatever the payment that you're receiving from the old house, multiply that by 0.75 or 75%. And that counts towards your debt to income towards the new house. And I'm going to guess that just because again, I don't, like you said, there's been some other financing, I'm guessing, along the way. But if you got $200,000 of equity, there's a good chance that you're cash flowing more than that 75% mark, meaning your debt to income is perfectly level or maybe even goes up. And we could run the numbers if you want to. But yeah, basically have the old house help you buy the new house and potentially even put yourself in a better cash flow position than you are on your current house. Obviously, we'd have to run the numbers and see, but there's potential there. Oh, are you on mute?
That would
Oh,
mean
there
that
you
I
are.
would have to give up my baby.
What's
This
your baby?
house has protected my house.
Oh,
I when you literally build the house from the ground up, and you just put in the hard and the sweat and the labor.
you gain emotional attachment.
This one really kind of is. Yeah. But I keep looking at myself, I'm like, there's just no room. Like, you know, there I know. I've got to live like
It's a material item and it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. It is just bricks and sticks and wood, which sticks are wood. It's bricks and sticks and dirt and some concrete.
yeah,
I have a question for you.
boards,
Would you be interested in keeping part or most of it?
part of most of what?
The house, so you don't have to sell it in full.
Oh, what do you mean?
Because you could turn it into a rental, I'm guessing is
Oh,
where
I
Earl's
could.
going, or
Yeah,
a
that
short-term
that
rental,
and you keep
or
them. Yeah, any kind of rental, and we keep. You can own you if you need cash out of it. You can sell some of the equity, but not necessarily all of it. So you get a portion of the rent back, and you keep the mortgage in place. You keep everything in place. We rent it out. We get it professionally managed, et cetera, et cetera. Also, your last name
Uh,
confuses me because I keep thinking Dane's calling me.
ah, I know. It is weird when you have a last name for a first name or a first name for a last name. And I did that to my kids because they're both Hunter and Taylor, which
Nope.
is both a first and a last name.
But yeah, that's
Uh,
so. I'm part of a big platform. I manage about 100 doors on a platform called Lofty.ai. And what we do is we cash people out of some or all of their equity, depends on how much they want, depends on how much they need. You can some people treat it like a HELOC, basically. Some people guarantee a yield or like an interest rate to the equity buyers for the property that they list. You get to keep basically a controlling interest in the property. You keep the mortgage in the property, but you get some of your cash out without having to sell the whole thing. And you can buy it back later if you want.
Oh.
In other words, there's options.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that the options that I like are, I don't want to say that Earl's is risky by saying low risk, because I'm guessing it's not. But the options that I like are like set it and forget it. If you sell or finance it, that new buyer is going to come in and they're going to make a payment all the way until they either want to sell it themselves or refinance you out themselves, or if they fail, you're keeping their huge down payment and you sell or finance it again. I've sold the same house now 3 times. And
I'm on the buying side of that. I usually take over seller finance of these properties and cover the mortgage, do all the operations, turn it into a rental, et cetera, et cetera.
And so again, I don't want to use the words risk averse. Super what's the word I'm thinking?
Passive?
Yes, passive.
Streamlined?
Yes, I can't brain fart, darn it.
What's the pain point? I mean, yeah.
You can rely on it. I can't think of that word. There's a word for that. But
reliable, stable. No,
stable? Very stable.
Not stable. Stable.
Anyway, you can basically plan your life around it, kind of, like more than anything else. Versus if you choose to, let's say, keep it and turn it in. Let's say you do like the bare bones, dinosaur strategy, if you will. I know some people would say that the average rental is like the dinosaur strategy because it's been around for longer than any of these other creative ones. Even if you do something like that, turn it into a bare bones rental property, you can't always bank on it because your tenant moves in, they give you a small deposit, a couple $1,000s maybe, and then they could move at any time. And then you got to find a new tenant. So you might have to make a few payments in between and then find the new tenant. Maybe they did some damage to it, so you have to make a few payments, do some fix up, and find a new tenant. And so I still can't think of that term. Anyway, it's going to hit me like probably right after the call. Anyway, but you can't necessarily plan. Like I would never buy groceries off of rental income, or I should say, run my monthly budget expenses, my consumable expenses off of a rental income. Because what if you have one tenant that stops paying or moves out or whatever, and all of a sudden now, like, crap, I'm not only don't have grocery money, now I'm making the payment myself. And so
you're talking about negative cash flow, Daine?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes rentals negative cash flow, an entire mortgage payment worth, or an entire water heater replacement worth, or an entire roof replacement worth, or whatever. Right? They have those maintenance. So that is one reason why I do like seller financing, especially new. If you don't have piles of cash that if all of a sudden you've got to make 3 or 4 payments, like I just sold a house on seller financing that I could have foreclosed on the gal. I could have taken it, but I chose not to because I do have a bunch of reserves. And I told the lady, tell you what, if you move out, I will sell the house for you. And this house was in disrepair. Like they did not take care of it. And so it took me like 4 months to sell that house. And so I made probably 5 payments total through all of this myself. And in that case, I didn't have to choose to do that, but because I was in the financial position. And so that's what I'm getting at is some strategies that you're going to pick are going to require backup plans like having stockpile of cash. Some strategies that you pick are not. Seller financing obviously leans towards not. And that's all I wanted to say. Like it's not right or wrong. In fact, I can almost guarantee that like Earl, the stuff that he does, his paychecks per deal or paychecks per capita would be way higher than mine. And I'll be the first to admit that. Versus with a seller financing, my paychecks might be smaller, but I can rely on those to show up because they have my client has a ton at stake. They gave me $100,000 and that $100,000 is at stake. They're gonna go on beans and rice before they stop making a payment to me, kind of a thing. And so
Yeah.
in your decision making, again, neither is right or wrong, and I'll be the first to tell you that. But in that decision making, you just want to decide, okay, how much can I rely on? How much do I want to bank on the deal plowing through and plan A for sure? Vice versa. Anyways, just wanted to give my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think I'll do the research on it and see if it makes sense.
That's what this is for.
Yep.
So
Okay.
yeah, could do something like that.
Thanks for your advice.
Or so that was one option that I had in my mind. Or what if you bought and sold her house on seller financing and cash flow that, and then your house becomes just a little bit more free than the equities, the sweat equity that you guys put into it. Could do something like there's options. Staying in your house, moving, either one. Or like Earl was saying, do something a little more.
No, the seller financing works really well with the strategy that I suggested. It actually
beautiful.
They combine really well. We love seller financing.
And it sounds like Earl,
there's no mortgage.
If I caught on, some of the options that Earl has are effectively you being the seller financier to basically business to business. Am I catching on, Earl? So
precisely
business to business where somebody else is going to run their business that could have ups and downs, but your paycheck,
you don't have to think about that. Yeah. Your paycheck is stable. Yep.
And so, yeah. Anyway,
better rates than DSCR lenders, because like DSCR lenders are a pain to deal with. I'll pay a point or 2 points over 1 to 2 points over DSCR rates just to not deal with them.
Crazy. So Amy, if you wanted to run some numbers real fast, let's see. So let's do this. You already own your house, and so we could do something like this. We can even just use a mortgage calculator. In fact, we don't need to do addresses here. Let me go back. So let's say that you sell your current house on seller financing. Are you cool to run through this just as an example? I'm sure a lot of other people would love to hear it.
Yeah, let's just run through the numbers and just see how it turns out.
So we're just going to
The thing that I have going in my favor is I have a 14-year-old who's going into high school. And so you're in that 4-year high school. Stay with the good group of friends that he's had since the second grade.
If you moved, would he change schools?
No, he would move wards. And he would lose the really good friends that group that he has going in the house in the cul-de-sac behind me. So I'm like,
cool, I don't think we need to know any of this. Save. All right. So that doesn't necessarily matter. Let's just do this. How much do you owe on your house?
We have a HELOC for around 280.
280. What do you think it's worth?
I have a an email that gives me my updated house price every so often.
Yeah, that's fine. That
442 442,000.
Okay. Perfect. And then let's just say that we are financing 100% of the purchase price. What's your interest rate?
I think it's 7.25% on my HELOC.
Okay. Oh, and is that a variable? A variable HELOC?
No, it's locked in.
Locked in. America First?
Hmm.
Okay. So like 5 years probably. Locked in 5 years. Okay. So let's do this. I'm gonna go to Carl's mortgage. Oops. Carl's mortgage calculator. Right there. Do you know your principal and interest portion of your payment?
I can maybe look it up here. I think most of it is interest. So, um,
Or even actually, is it if I remember right, America First does amortize it, if I'm not mistaken.
well, we were in a financial, like, let's get this done moment. And so,
Or
uh,
here, let's even just do this. Just for ease. Do you know what the payment is off the top of your head?
it's $3,539.
Okay, let's go back to payment.
And I know when I make a, if I save up 2 paychecks and then I pay the exact amount and then I make a double payment, it goes way down.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So this could be obviously subject to change because like you said, as you pay it down, the payment goes down. So let's just do, is 3,500, does that include taxes and insurance? Or are they just having you make a payment? Okay,
Nope,
cool.
that's just straight HELOC. I paid my
Yeah.
taxes out of pocket.
Okay. So we need this to be $3,500. So if I put 9 years over here, that should, we'll double check and make sure that calculates. Okay, so you already own it, so we don't need to do any of this stuff. And all right, let's go back to Carl's mortgage calculator and say, let's say you sell it for 442 and you get a down payment of, let's just say 10%. Whoops. So somebody gives you 39,000, sorry, $44,200. Let's say you charge that person 8% interest. And we're going to change this to payment 30 years, 8%. See, that doesn't even change, doesn't match your payment because your amortization is way faster than theirs.
Oh, that's true.
And so the cash flow is negative. You'd have to try and get 9%, which would be tougher. 3%. Or start playing with the years and be like, hey, we'll do a 25-year or a 20-year or yeah. 44,000, 9%. So yeah, so it just matches. So because of that HELOC, it definitely is going to make things tougher unless you pay the HELOC way down and drop that payment or refinance into a 30-year. Like let's say you refinanced your house into a 30-year, right now you could probably get somewhere like in the sixes, let's say 6.5 on 30 years. And you said you owe 280. And so we do nothing down, 280, 6.5, 30 year. So let's say you convert your current HELOC into a 30 year, 280, your payment is $1,700. Then you sell or finance your house. And let's go back to that. So here, let's do this. And again, I'm just running these scenarios to give ideas to you and anybody else. So let's say 6.5% interest, 30-year term, 280,000. And then if you sell it for 442, they put 10% down, and 6.5. Let's say you charge them 8%. They are now paying $29.18 per month. So we're going to put that in the rent. Whoops. Oh, whoops. That's not where I wanted it. Right there. We're just going to have these two things become a wash. We're going to say, we'll do that later. Perfect. All right, let's take a look at this and then let's match those two things here. So $140 per month in taxes. 140 per month. And let's see, insurance, we're going to say 117 per month. Because when you sell or finance, it's just a wash. Oops. 117 per year. 117 per month. Save. All right. Now this should be 29, 287, 287. All right. So now, let's say you refinanced your house and got it on a very stable situation, 30-year amortization. You drop your interest rate a little bit, and so your payment was the 1,770 plus taxes and insurance, which we just accounted for here. And then you sell it for what it's worth, get 10% down, and let's see, and then they pay $2,900 a month plus taxes and insurance. You now cash flow $1,150. So cash flow from your old house. Then you buy the new house. Do you know what'd you say she has it listed for?
She said 460. I haven't looked it up on the iOS yet, but
460.
that's what she said.
Okay. So let's say she's trying to sell it for 460,000. And let's say you go conventional mortgage. So you only put 5% down. And interest rate of probably about that 6.5, 30 years. Your payment is $2,762 per month. Minus, what was the cash flow of the old house? $1,100. So if I do that, $2,700 minus $1,100. So your effective payment for the new house, $1,662. And so I'm guessing, well, yeah, you said your payment currently is $3,500. So you move into a new place and your cash flow goes way up. Basically goes from 3,500 negative cash flow to negative 1,600. Penny saved is a penny earned.
Yeah.
Essentially is what I'm getting at.
Absolutely.
Again, just an idea. This is not the idea. Like
Yes.
you infinite amount of things, and you could even mix and match, like what Earl was sharing, what I'm sharing here, or hybrids of whatever.
Yeah, and these aren't all my exact numbers because I'm kind of a private person, so I was just making up numbers.
No,
But
you're
I
good.
get
You're
the
good.
idea.
But yeah, and that's what the purpose of this is, not to be exact. In fact, I even have to disclose and say like, like results vary, whatever. Um, but yeah, something like this could totally do and get into the new house at a better cash flow position. Or like I said, keep your house, buy their house, do it on seller financing, or do any of the other, insert any strategy. My rule of thumb is always just pick one as plan A and follow that all the way through because you can get confused, or I call it shiny object syndrome, because there's so many strategies.
Yes.
And so
I've thought of many ideas. I'm like, well, because I figured out how many it would take, how many people bringing into building a team, the marketing side of it.
absolutely.
I'm like, I figured out how many people it would take to like bring it all together. And I'm just like, there's a lot of options. And I love that about Renatus is that you have options.
Yeah. And none of them are wrong. So just pick one and go for it is my rule of thumb, because you won't be wrong. Everything works, nothing doesn't.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, you've got options. So just decide what you want to do. Sit down, decide, okay, here's my plan A. If in a perfect world, that's what I love to ask people. In a perfect world, draw out how you would like everything to go, work towards that. And even if you get 90% of that, remember, you built in a perfect world scenario. And if you get 90% of that, bam, you will not be sorry. So cool. Questions on this, or I haven't been watching comments. Anybody else have questions?
Nope.
Dane, I have a question.
Go ahead.
All right. So I've moved into a new phase of dealing with seller finance and deals and stuff. And
Okay.
it's a little messy at the moment. But so one of my tenants, she's literally one of the best tenants I have. Like, hasn't missed a beat. She just does everything. Like, I couldn't ask for a better tenant. Anyway, so what
Yeah.
happened was I set the term. This is where I got a little loose on my end, and so it's this. I got to tighten this up. So I said, in order to move over to the seller finance, and like you say, everything's negotiable. I said $4,000, $5,000 down, and this is the type of clientele I'm working with. They don't have large amounts of money, and I've restructured this part since then. But so I said $5,000 down to move into seller finance. So she had the seller finance, the money, and at that time I was freaking out for a little bit because I needed to get the lender out of the house, and I didn't have a replacement. So long story short, I didn't move it over for her officially at that
And
time.
she didn't give you the money yet.
Right. I didn't take the
Okay.
money because I didn't move it into her name yet.
Okay.
So now, fast forward, she had a family emergency or something, and she had to so she used the money instead of give it to me, which
Oh,
again,
shoot.
yes, exactly. So again, it's my my fault because my mistake there because I should have just accepted it when she had it. And so now it's messy because I told her I would start applying the payment she was making to her mortgage, which I want to do it for her because she's been such a
Yeah.
great tenant. And then also, so she's starting to she did make a $1,000 payment, but now it's like messy because we're in this gray area of,
Yeah, like
well,
she's paying as if it's seller financing, but she never actually gave you the down payment to secure the seller finance. If I'm catching on.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out how to tighten this up and move forward accordingly.
Was anything ever written?
No, and I reached out to her. We have a lease option. I know it's a little messy right now.
No worries.
Because now
You're
I
my
got
favorite.
everything. This is why I love these calls. So not yet. It's still, and I reached out to her and I said, we need to tighten this up and then we need to move into the seller finance agreements, but I didn't want to push it until I have an actual game plan. So we don't have
Yeah.
anything written at this time.
So the beautiful thing about this is the sky, and like with what we experienced with Amy, like the sky is the limit. There's no wrong answer. That sometimes becomes the problem actually, because there are so many things that you can do. And so just pick one. And so, but anyways, like I don't think you've done anything wrong. Essentially, what you can do, because the sky's the limit, you can say, all right, here's what we'll do. And I'm just going to throw ideas out here because ideas are easy to come by and you can just pick what, let's say you go and try and get 30 ideas and just pick one. None of them will be wrong, but just pick the one that you're like, hey, this is the one that I like. Don't even, and part of me even likes to give the advice like, hey, don't even worry about picking your favorite one. Just pick one that you're like, I like this one. Let's go for it. The outcome looks fine. So she doesn't have the money, but she wants to do seller financing. Were you going to increase her monthly payment?
No, she wanted me to keep it the same.
I see. And so you could do like a hybrid and say, okay, if you want me to start amortizing your payment, I need that down payment in order to do so. And so you can tell her like, hey, like we're going to leave it as rent, but as soon as you give me that down payment, I will start amortizing it, even if it takes us a minute to sit down at the closing table, right? And all you have to do is write that up in your agreement. You could even do an addendum to your lease option and say, hey, add the extra money, and then as soon as that earnest money, or not earnest money, option money is received, the effective payment will amortize, or the effective payment will have X amount as principal reduction, or go towards the purchase price, right? And that would be literally just an addendum to the current existing arrangement that you have with her, because you do have something signed as a current existing arrangement.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
She was under a lease option.
Perfect. So addendum to the lease option. But again, sky's the limit with what you can do there, because obviously she wants something to change with how it works. But yeah, just do a quick addendum and say, as soon as you give me the money, then we'll amortize it. And if she signs that, then she obviously, retroactively agrees to it. You don't have to account for any of the payments that she has been making, unless you want to. If you're like, hey, I want to do this, then yeah, do it, because you can. I would just do an addendum to your current situation to just get it to what you want it to be. Amortize the payment using the option addendum. Or you can say, hey, I will go ahead and start applying X amount of dollars towards your purchase price. And if you want to increase the payment by $500, then 500 of that will go towards your option money.
No, she already executed the option money. The lease and option is already executed. She's
Oh.
she's 2 years in. She's done everything right at this point. Now we're just moving it into the seller finance terms.
Yeah, sorry. What I meant to say was if you want me to, because you asked her for $5,000 to convert it to seller financing.
Correct.
And so you can say, hey, if you want to do 500, again, I'm just picking a number. If you want to do an extra $500 a month, because she doesn't have the 5,000 anymore, you could say, hey, if you want to give me $5,000 a month, sorry, $500 per month extra, I will count that towards the seller financing portion of the down payment. Because you are on a lease option, though, that's going to read as another option fee. And so she has her existing option fee, but you're going to do another one and say this is in place of, or this is for the seller financing, so that we can convert it. And then you can say, hey, as soon as you have $5,000, so I'm not a head math person, what's that? A year, right? 500 times 12 is 6,000. So 10 months. Somebody let me know if I do my head math there. I'm not a head math person. So let's say she does $500 a month, and you count that as the option fee that will go towards the seller financing. And as soon as, and you almost treat it like an escrow account and say, hey, we're just waiting for that to build up to the 5,000. Then I will amortize the payment, or you tell her like, hey, if you start doing the 500, I'll start amortizing the payment today. Like the sky's the limit.
Got it.
Just pick something, jot it down on an addendum to your existing lease option of how you want it to be. And I typically like to make decisions based on what I want to motivate that person to do. If you want them to give you the 5,000 as soon as possible, then make it, draw up the addendum that says, hey, as soon as she gives me the extra 5,000, I'm going to amortize the payment. Because then you're just getting rent for the next little bit. And nothing is going towards the purchase price, but she knows, as soon as I give her $5,000, payment amortizes, and then we will go into seller financing. If that makes sense. And if that's so really just ask yourself, what do I want to motivate her to do? Are you okay
Got
to
it.
draw it out, or do you want to award or reward? Do you want to reward speed of getting you the 5,000? Or like I said, maybe you say, hey, give me an extra $500 a month. That will build up to the 5,000, but until the 5,000 is secured, I won't amortize the payment. Or you say I will. Again, you can pick whatever you want. If basically my rule of thumb is if you can think it, you can do it as long as it's legal. If you can think it and it's honest, legal, moral, and ethical, you can do it. It's anything you can even fathom to think, you're fine to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, like I said, also becomes a lot of people's downfall, myself included, because it's like, oh, well, now I have to sit down and think it. and so, yeah, just pick something. You can ask her you could literally ask her to give you cows. In that lease option. Like if you can think it, cows are legal. And so you can trade in cows.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. You proved my point better than I could. But yeah, just pick something like that, jot it down in an addendum, because then you could do it like this afternoon. And if she agrees to it, great, she'll sign it. And the course of I don't know, I got to think of a jingle for this, but basically the course of a deal is always conversation. Yes, I like the sound of that. Cool, I'll write that up. And so just have that conversation with her and say, hey, what if we do fill in the blank? What if we do just make the payment and do an extra $500 a month, and as soon as we have 5,000, then I'll start amortizing the payment and we'll schedule the seller financing. And if it takes a while to schedule the seller financing, like let's say it takes 2 months to get all the seller financing squared away, then hey, you at least have 2 months of amortized payments. Cool, I like that. So conversation, yes, I like that. Cool, I'll write that up. And then you drop an addendum in literally half an hour. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
But Daine, when are you going to seller finance with Bitcoins? I'm sure there's a way. I haven't figured it out yet. I've just been holding Bitcoin. That's it. But yeah, Tamara, does that make sense? And I guess most importantly, do you have the thing that you're like, okay, here's what I want to do?
Yeah, I just want to get her down payment, and so I don't have to think about the so like I want to move it into seller finance, and it's not my. I don't have to think
And so
about the house.
do you want to motivate her to get you that 5,000 as soon as possible, or are you okay to collect that 5,000 over time?
I would prefer sooner rather than later, just
Sooner?
because
Okay.
I could use the money.
So what I would do is draw up that addendum that says, hey, as soon as you give me the $5,000, we will begin applying X amount towards the principal. And honestly, all I would do, in fact, here, let's do this for you. Here's the number that I would pick. So let's go to mortgage calculator. Remind me how much she is going to owe you at the end of the day.
For rent, it's $750 a month.
All right, let's go to 750. How much? What was the dollar amount of principal that she's going to owe you?
Oh, gosh. I have to go back to that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
Yeah, pick a number.
let's say I don't know, 300.
Oh, 300,000?
No. Oh,
Oh,
how much is the house?
yeah. So how much is she buying it from you? Let's start there
Oh,
actually.
she's buying a house for 60,000. It's a small house.
60,000. She has already given you how much?
Uh, $5,000 down, and then she gave me 1,000 recently that goes towards the down payment. So
Oh,
6,000.
so 6,000 total, but you want her to get you to 10,000 before you seller finance it.
Yes.
I see. So let's go 10,000 because that's the goal. That's what you want. That's what you want. Um, payment is 750. Oops. Remind me 750 out the door, or is that after taxes and insurance?
That is so for her, that will be taxes and with taxes and insurance.
Okay. So we need this to be like, I don't know, 650. Do you know how much taxes and insurance are?
Yeah, taxes are 1,000 a year. So
So what's
and
that like $83?
yeah, and insurance is like 1,100. Yeah, we're our head math people because it's not me and Dave.
Yeah, I'm not a head math person. All right. So so that's $200. So 750, 650, 550, roughly.
550 is tax. Is that you're saying is taxes and
So
insurance?
principal and insurance.
Oh,
Sorry.
right.
Right. Principal and interest, 550, taxes and insurance, 200.
Yeah,
So 750 out the door.
right.
And roughly, I mean, we need this to be like 541. There we go. So 541 principal and interest, 209 taxes and insurance, 30-year term. That's 12.69% interest with $10,000 down. Okay, so here's what I would do. On your, let's see, let's go to annual. So the very first payment that she makes, why is that $1,000? Hang on. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Oh, that was right, annual. I was like, what? Okay. So so the very first payment that she makes will be $528 in interest, $12 in principal. All right. So we're not talking a lot of principal, to be honest. And so basically in your lease option, addendum, you're going to say, all right, as soon as you give me the $5,000, well, actually at this point it's 4,000, right? Because she gave you 1,000.
Yes.
Okay,
She gave me 1,000, yeah.
so you can say as soon as you give me the total of $5,000. So basically you put in your addendum, you've already given me 1,000. As soon as you give me another $4,000, we will begin amortizing the monthly payment. And between you and me, I don't know if I'd actually share the $12
No, I
because
won't share
that's not
that.
very inspiring.
Right.
So just use that language. We will begin amortizing the payment.
Okay.
Or applying, well, lease options don't have amortization. We will begin applying a portion of the payment towards principal. And so do it just like that. As $1,000 has already been given, as soon as another $4,000 is given, we will begin applying a portion of the payment towards principal and can schedule seller financing. And so that way it locks you in where you don't have to give her any principal portion of the payment until she gives you another 4,000. Am I?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So here's my where again. It's a little messy. So I told her in the beginning when because when I was not clear on how I was moving it over that I would apply some the payments that she was starting to make before she gave me the $5,000 down because at the time I was under the impression that it was my fault that I didn't move it over, and ultimately it was, but at the end of the day I was just a little bit confused.
Okay. Yeah.
So Yeah.
So okay, so maybe you do it this way and say, okay, you already gave me $1,000. Put that in your addendum. Like $1,000 has been given to from tenant to landlord, and in order to schedule official seller financing, another $4,000 must be given within a period of time. By and you can ask her by July of 2026, whatever. Pick a number or pick a date. And then you can say but because you told her that you would, maybe go ahead and start giving her the $12.52 towards the amortization. And so go ahead and put that like a principal portion of the payment, or sorry, a portion of the payment will begin applying towards principal. Whether you put that dollar amount in there, I mean, at that point I probably would, just so that there's no question later on. Well, like you do either way. Say this dollar amount will be applied toward principal and put that in your addendum, or you could basically use the rest of these terms and say a principal portion of the payment will apply towards the purchase price, or will apply towards the remaining balance, based on a 30-year 12.69% balance, $50,000 principal. Although, you know what? She hasn't given you, she's only given you 6,000 down payment. So that changes that to $17 of principal. Anyway, either way, whatever way you want to do it.
I mean, I could, yeah.
10,000. Yeah. That's crazy how much it changes percentage wise. Like these small dollar amounts, like small increments make big change, big ratio changes. It's crazy to me. But yeah, that's what I do. But at the same time, you don't have a carrot. Oh yeah, you could put the carrot that causes, like I said, you want to reward what you want them to do. So you say, hey, if you can pay the rest of the $4,000 remaining by this date, you will be tracking the principal portion of the payment based on, these terms. But if she doesn't get you the rest of the 4,000 by date, then obviously it's null, right? It doesn't count. And you can just, it doesn't mean you have to take it, but you just renegotiate at that point and say, okay, you didn't get it to me, and so we just won't count all that towards the amortization, but I'll still let you get me the rest of the $5,000. And we'll still do seller financing, right? You don't have to be like what they call that, a loan shark, if you will. You just renegotiate. Be like, oh, well, you didn't do what you said you were going to do. And so, that kind of messes me up too.
Right.
And so we just won't apply the principal portion, but still just get me the rest of the 5,000. And then you just say, oh, well, can you do it by December of 2020?
Oh.
Whatever, pick a number.
Wait, so let me just make sure I follow what you said, and I'm gonna have to watch this YouTube recording until we get your class.
You're good.
So basically what I'll do is I'll essentially something like, well, if you as long as we stay on track and you give me the remaining of the down payment by January, these payments will go towards the amortization, but if not, we're going to have to reset it. Is that kind of how is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah, you could say something like that. And you're saying January, like in like 20 some odd days.
What? So yes, because I initially gave her until December, and she just recently told me she's not going to be able to have it by then.
Yeah.
So I have to.
Yeah. So goes back to that, the process. Conversation. Yes, I like that. So let's say you throw out like, okay, what if I just write up the docs that say that if you get it to me by January 1st? Does that sound good? And she'll either say yes or no, and then she's like, oh no. He's like, okay, what if I did February? Or Anyway, come to verbal agreements on a phone. You know, I would do it over a phone call. Definitely do it over a phone call, not a text
Right.
or email. Because then you can fire back and forth so much faster
You're the only
on
one
a phone
that
call.
want.
So pick. Sorry, let me put this on mute. Anyway, so talked around the phone. Okay, yeah, here was the original agreement. What if we did January 1st? Can you get me the $4,000 by January 1st? And then we'll do this. And I'll even backdate all the months that you have been paying, you know, again, if you agree to that. Um, and does that sound good? Yes. Okay, cool. I'll write that up. And then just draw up your addendum.
Okay, perfect. I think that's what I'll do. And then if she can't make the payment by then, like I am trying to work with her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like, you know, I also have to, like, this is a different demographic too that I have to,
Yeah.
you know, they're buying $70,000 houses. So, and if she can't, and I want to work with her. Like she's been such a
Yeah.
good tenant, but I can't be too flexible. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like there's always like if they ask for more time, then like okay, what's the trade-off? Like there's always if-thens, there's always trade-offs. So she obviously already didn't honor the first agreement. I shouldn't say honor, because there's like no harm, no foul. Like she couldn't quite do what she said she was going to do by giving you the 5,000 by December. And so obviously you need some kind of a trade-off here already, in my mind. And then basically just get the next thing of what she says that she can do. You know, you can give her the ideas that you want, of course, but or you leave it a little more flexible and say, okay, when can you give it to me? And if she says something that is okay with you, then great. Or if she's like, oh well, what if I give it to you by December next year? And then you're like, no, I can't do that.
yeah,
Then you'll come back and say, okay, well, I'll meet you in the middle. What if what if I just don't worry about amortizing the payments that we have done so, since the beginning? I'll start amortizing them now, and then I'll give you until March. You know, again, pick anything. If you can think it and you like it and it's legal, moral, ethical, you can do it.
got it. Yeah.
And so really just negotiating verbally of what everybody agrees on, and then you say, cool, I'll write that up, and just do it in a very simple addendum and have her sign it. And try to get them to sign it. Like basically my favorite method with this is, cool, I'll write that up. I'll send it to you in like 15 minutes. Like don't let them stew on it
Right.
for
Just get it
days,
signed.
hours,
Yeah.
days, whatever. Like, cool, I'll write that up. I'll send it to you in the next 15 minutes. I'll text you when it's in your inbox. And just get it done fast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Get it done.
Yeah.
and signed.
Tell me what you're gonna do. 'Cause if you can hear yourself say it.
Yeah, I'm going to give her the two options. One, to just pay it by, let's say, February, March. I'll extend it one more time, or and I'll have these payments go towards amortization. Or the other option, if she needs to break it up, let's say worst case scenario, the longest I would give it is, hold on, like May, but then if it goes that far, the payments won't go towards amortization.
Yeah. Perfect.
Until the payment's complete.
Perfect.
All right.
Cool.
Perfect. Thanks, Dean. This is awesome, as usual.
That's awesome. Steve says you only need 17 of those to have a $1 million portfolio.
All right. So I just
That
need
doesn't feel like very many. That's awesome.
13 more and I'm good. 12 more. That's a great
Ooh,
point.
Steve actually makes a good point. Tax refunds come out, early next year. So maybe you even try to work it around getting her tax refund.
Yeah,
There you go.
I saw that.
Brilliant. Cool. All
Well,
right.
Daine, you always impress. And thank you, Tamara, for creating your wealth in real life right in front of us in real time. I know it's inspiring a lot of the other students as well. So, guys, we got the dream team. Let's keep it going. We got our live education tomorrow and Friday for the new classes. Super Saturday this Saturday.
and let's go make it a great week. Appreciate you all. See you soon. Bye for now.
Thanks. Have a great day, everyone.